All right, all right, all right. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? So your girl came to react, communicate, conversate, whatever you like to call it. And today we are talking about misunderstanding. But first, hi, hello, nice to meet you. My name is Lina. I go by Lina the Hood Therapist. I am here to help you heal, grow, and thrive, only if you want to. I am not here to force you. It's up to you to decide if you want to heal. Not only the surface level, my love, but deep down inside in your soul and your spirit. So, come along, my love, if you want to come on this journey. I want you to know, though, this journey is not going to be an easy journey. It's going to be hard. You might even have to fight for your life. But I believe in you. I believe that you can come on this journey and heal and better yourself and grow. Now, back to the topic at hand, my love. Misunderstandings. See, the thing about a misunderstanding is it means you're being misunderstood. Hold on, y'all, I'm thirsty. Excuse me. But it means you're being misunderstood. I'm pretty sure some of you guys understand that. But the thing about misunderstandings is there is a lot of things that can be misunderstood. I don't know if y'all hear that train. But there's a lot of things that can be misunderstood. You know, today I was at work, right? And one of my leads was up front with us, right? Y'all. Damn. Hold on. Let me see if I can catch it. Is it coming this way? Damn, you can't even see that bitch for real. Damn. You see that? Y'all. Sorry, that plane? That's a plane. But the way that plane looked in the clouds and the lights was lit, oh my God, that was crazy. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Today, I was literally up front. I was not feeling well today. My stomach was hurting. I'm not gonna hold you. My stomach was hurting. So I was just like, I was a little like, meh. You know what I'm saying? But I was still, just trying to get through work, Even though I was feeling uncomfortable, I was still trying to get through work. But, she was up there talking to, people, right? And, like, I'm listening to her. Like, well, not to her, but, like, I'm listening to what they're saying. But I also had a guest. So I was kind of going in and out to where I was starting to zone out. Like I was hearing them, but I wasn't hearing them because, like I said, I wasn't feeling well. So I was just kind of like zoning out. I'm just like, man, whatever, you know what I'm saying? As long as, I help the guests and, they are good. That's all that really matters. But as I was zoning out, I was looking in the direction of my lead and stuff. And all of a sudden she was just like, what did she say? Are you okay? He was like, is everything okay? I'm just like, yeah. I'm just like, she was like, is everything okay? She was like, is everything all good? I'm just like, yeah, everything's fine. And so I'm going about my way, right? And hold on, y'all. I'm going about my way, right? And, like, I'm still helping the guest out, right? And after, I was done with the guests, my team lead was like, hey, I actually need your help. Can you help me for a second in the back? And I was just like, yeah, sure. So I'm walking with her to the back, right? And we stop at the back door. Like, we stop at the door by the back. And she says, "Is everything okay?" You know, she's like, "Is everything okay? I don't understand why you were giving me a side eye and da 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 and blah 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 blah." So basically, she assumed, like, basically, she misread me spacing out, but also looking in their direction as giving a side eye. And I was telling her, like, I was like, "Love, I was not giving you no side eye. I was just, sorry, I keep getting distracted by the plane. The way the light illuminates around the plane in the front and kind of shows like the path is crazy." But yeah, I'm just like, "Love, I'm not trying to, I wasn't trying to side eye you or nothing. I was literally just zoned out. I was just zoned out. Like, I was listening, but I was just zoned out. And when you was like, 'Hey, is everything all right?' You kind of pulled me back in, like, like you kind of pulled me back in, like back to reality. Like, 'Hey, we're at work. Like, come on, let's get this done.' You know what I'm saying? Because I was zoning out. I ain't gonna hold you. I was zoning out like a motherfucker. And if I'm not feeling well, you can see it on my face that I'm not feeling well. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I'm not gonna be happy-go-lucky unless, like, I'm actually, like, if there was a moment where I'm just like, ha, 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 like a real moment where even though I'm feeling bad, but it still has something that made me laugh, then okay, I'm laughing. But I'm not gonna fake no laugh, I'm not gonna fake the funk and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm not." No, I do not feel too good. Like, I'm just chilling. Like, I'm really just chilling because I know, like, if I make any sudden moves that a bitch might explode and not in the good way. Like, excuse me. But yeah, she misunderstood, my actions and how I was in that moment. And she, she was like, "I don't get what the problem is," or, well, basically she was just saying, "I don't know what was wrong or whatever. I don't know why you was giving me a side eye." And I told her, like, "Yeah, it was a mistake," and da da da, or not a mistake, it was a misunderstanding and all that jazz. And she was like, "Oh, okay," because me and her don't know each other that well, because we don't really work with each other often, and when we do, she's somewhere else having to take care of other things, and I'm somewhere else taking care of something else, to where me and her are not crossing paths as much, to where we're talking and having a conversation. So after we had talked and got everything situated and made sure that we were on the right page, everything was cool. So what I'm really here to try to tell you is, misunderstandings happen, okay? You might not even realize it was a misunderstanding unless you and that person have a conversation and come to the same agreement that, okay, I misunderstood, you misunderstood, we both misunderstood, whoever misunderstood, and it's fine. Like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because if you guys, or should I say, if you don't have a conversation, especially during moments where somebody is like making you feel off or making you feel weird, and something was said or something was did to where you was just like, "Wow, why would you do that?" in a negative way, to the point where you're starting to feel bad, y'all need to talk that out, right? And so if you talk it out, because some people do not talk it out, they just go their separate ways, and it's the misunderstanding turns into some big fiasco, right? we're not talking about that. If you decide to have a disagreement or something happens in a negative way to where you don't come to that person and you have a conversation, that's on you. I'm talking to the people that be like, okay, there was a misunderstanding, like after you talk, like there was a misunderstanding. Okay, now what? You know what I'm saying? So that's who I'm talking about or talking to. When you go through something with somebody else, a negative thing that happens to where you guys go your separate ways and you're like, oh, whatever, like da 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 da, and you give yourself moments, like you give each other a moment to like calm down, and then you come back to each other, or you don't even have to go back, something happens to where it was a negative effect, right? And then y'all both come and talk about it. And you be like, why did you do that to me? And da da da. And he's like, oh, da da da. And come to find out, what happened had a whole nother meaning behind it compared to what you thought the meaning was. To the point where y'all both be like, okay, this was a misunderstanding. You meant this instead of this. I thought I assumed or thought that you meant that, but whole time it was this. Okay, cool. So since we talked it out and we're doing our thing, we cool. Now, for others, some might be like, oh, one be like, okay, it's a misunderstanding, and then the other one's still over here acting a goddamn fool. Like, you gotta understand, misunderstandings happen. If you are a, should I say, mature individual, and you're like, okay, there's something going on here, and let's talk it out, and you figure out it's a misunderstanding, good. You know what I'm saying? For those that don't talk out shit, sometimes, or not even sometimes, I am pretty sure if you're somebody that has a situation that goes on and y'all disappear from each other and y'all just are angry at each other and you don't come in and have a conversation and realize that it's a misunderstanding, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? For those that do not come, oh yes, for those that do not come back to have a conversation about the situation to where you realize it's a misunderstanding, I am pretty sure there is a good amount of you that walks away from a situation and whole time it was a misunderstanding that could have been resolved. As simple as, oh, you meant this? Oh, I thought you meant that. No, I meant this. Oh, okay. Well, shit. Then cool. Fine. Whatever. Like, I'm not worried about that. I thought you were saying this. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. You don't know how many times you went through something and you left and you decided not to get any information on the situation that happened, and it could have just been a whole misunderstanding. Instead of you be like, damn, that really irked my nerves, let me tell them about it. Like, why would you do that? Like, what is going on? And what's this? What's that? And da da da. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. Cool. You get what I'm saying? My bad, y'all. I think a bunny had ran underneath the car and shook it a little. You're probably like, how did it shake it? More like when you're in a car, you kind of feel something that's speeding underneath you. Just like when you're sitting at a at a light, and it's a turn light, and the other cars to your right are still going because the straight, the right of way or the green light ahead is still green instead of red. Does that make sense? You're in the turning lane that's not red. That's not green. It's red. But the one next to you is going straight ahead and is green. And you know how you sitting there and they come flying past you and your car shake a little bit. That's kind of how you feel. That's kind of how it feels when that little bunny had ran under there. But not like it didn't shake the whole. No, it's more of I felt the vibrations, and not only that, I kind of heard it too. So, but yeah. Just know that there's mistakes, bro. Not mistakes. I keep saying mistakes. There are misunderstanding. There's a lot of things that could be misunderstood. Easily, too. So, I guess my advice to you, or the message to you, advice, message, whatever you want to call it, is slow down and really sit in what happened. And then, whenever you feel like it, you go to that person, or if they come to you and be like, hey, can we have a conversation? When you have the conversation, don't be angry. Don't be upset. Don't be none of that. If anything, just sit there and listen so you can see if it was a misunderstanding or if what you're feeling is truly valid. What you're experiencing is truly valid, or it's just a make-up-believe emotion or make-up-believe situation in your head, but you don't even know because you assumed that's what it was. Just take time, bro. Like I said, there's a lot of things that can be misunderstood. Especially if you are talking to someone that is not on the same wavelength as you. Especially mentally wise. Because some people think differently. Some people explain things differently. So in your head, somebody's explaining one thing, but in their head, they're explaining another thing. You say you understand, but the whole time you don't truly understand because they can tell that you don't understand because of how you're responding. So, slow down. Try and understand from their perspective. Or simply ask a question. What did you mean by this? Can you put it in a certain term for me to understand? And then, if they're able to, then you will understand. And then you will realize if you understood right or wrong. But, yeah. Everything could be misunderstood. So try not to overdo things when it comes to things happening in a negative way. And I know it's easier said than done, because if you're over here thinking somebody's doing some foul shit to you, you're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? How you gonna do this to me of all people, especially if I'm your people's? Like, what you got going on? Like, or it's just like, why would you do that? That's so wild of you. Or why would you say that? Or how would you act like that? Why would you move like that? Anything. you're gonna feel some type of way, because it's like, damn, like I thought you were cool people. So I thought you was genuine the whole time you over here doing this. But you gotta understand, yes, you can feel those emotions, but don't let it be so extreme to where you can't sit and think, to where you can't analyze. Okay, wait, because I know this person, but damn, the evidence, but is the evidence real evidence? But I seen it with my own eyes, but I didn't hear what was going on behind the scenes. So I can't really tell you what the real shit is. All I can tell you is what I saw, and what I saw I didn't like. Even though I don't know what was behind what I saw. I just know what I saw I didn't like. Like, what the hell? You're going to, I'm telling you, you're going to be emotional.